Today we're going to explore some syllable patterns in words. But before we do that, I have a poem to share with you. This is a haiku poem that my husband Eric White wrote about school. So let me read it to you and then we'll start exploring some patterns together. School. Each day we read books that teach us fabulous things and open our minds, by Eric J. White. So one of the things I love about this poem is I love the way that it reminds me of how much I enjoy going to school and learning about new ideas through reading books and talking with other people. So I hope you enjoyed this poem as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at some of the different syllable patterns that we've been exploring, and we're going to do a sort together. The reason we're doing this is because it just gives us practice on learning how to break words, right, that have many syllables by using patterns that we know. So to get us started, let's take a look at a couple words from our poem. So I noticed one word in this poem, which is a really great word, a fabulous word, is the word fabulous. Each day we read books that teach us fabulous things. So let's take a look at that word, fabulous. Will you break that word with me? Ready? Fab-you-less. So this word is interesting because in this word we have a closed syllable here at the beginning, right? Remember our closed syllable ends in a consonant and the vowel makes a short sound. And then we have an open syllable right next to it. Remember, an open syllable ends in a vowel and the vowel makes a long sound. So fabulous is an example of a word that's built with a closed syllable and an open syllable. Let's take a look at the word open. We read fabulous. We read books that teach us fabulous things and open our minds. Would you break open with me? Ready? Open. Breaks right there. What are you noticing? Yeah, this is an example of a word that's built with an open syllable to begin with, right? An open syllable ends in a vowel and the vowel makes a long sound. And then the second syllable is an example of a closed syllable. A syllable that ends in a consonant and the vowel makes a short sound. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at some different words and we're going to work together to decide if these are words that have examples of open syllables, examples of closed syllables, or maybe examples of both kinds of syllables in one word. All right, let me get our chart up. Okay, all right. So I have some words for us to explore today that have to do with school, since our poem was about school. So let's start with our first word. Oh, let's start with the word library. That's one of my favorite places. All right, you might like to go to the library to get good stories to read, or maybe you find interesting books that open your mind to new ideas. So let's go ahead and take a look at the word library, and we'll break it together. Ready? Li-brar-e. What do you notice happening with that first syllable in library? What pattern do you see? That's right, that's an example of an open syllable pattern, right? It ends in a vowel and the vowel makes that long sound, that long I. Library. What else do you notice? What do you notice about that last pattern, that last syllable? Yeah, that's also an example of an open syllable, right? Remember, Y can be a vowel sometimes, and this Y makes that long E sound. So open syllables can have one letter, they could have two letters, right? So this is an example, library is an example of a word that's built with two open syllables. So where should we put that? Yeah, let's put it right there, under open. Nice, library. All right, let's take a look at another word together. Let's take a look at the word folder. Folder. I had put my math homework in my folder. Will you break folder with me? Ready? Folder. It breaks right there. Folder. What are you noticing about that first syllable? Right? It ends in a consonant and that vowel makes a short sound. So that's an example of a word with a closed syllable. Remember, closed syllables can end in one consonant or sometimes more than one consonant. So folder is an example of a word that's built with a closed syllable. So let's put that one under our closed syllable pattern. You might have even noticed that at the end, and that's a suffix. Folder. All right, let's take a look at another word. Let's look at the word science. Science. This might be a subject you really enjoy studying in school. Break science with me. Science. It breaks right here, doesn't it? So take a look at that first syllable. What pattern do you notice? Do we have an open syllable pattern or a closed syllable pattern? Science. You're right, we have an open syllable pattern because that syllable ends in a vowel and the vowel makes that long sound. Science. Do we have an open syllable in the second part of the word? Do we have a closed syllable in the second part of the word? We have an open syllable in the first part of the word, science. So where should we put that? Yeah, let's put that right there under science. Oh, what about this word? Music. Music. I love to go to music class and learn to play new songs. Music. Will you break that with me? Music. What do you see happening in this word? What's happening with that first syllable? Mew. Hey, you hear that long U like unicorn? That's what kind of syllable? You're right, that's an open syllable. What's happening in the second part of the word? Yeah, that's a closed syllable, isn't it? We have a short I and it ends in a consonant. Music. So this is an example of a word that's built with both an open syllable and a closed syllable. So let's add it to our both column. Music. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Lesson. Lesson. We're doing a lesson together on open and closed syllables. Lesson. Will you break that with me? Lesson. Right there between our double S consonant. So what kind of syllable do we have in the first part of the word? You're right, that's a closed syllable, isn't it? The vowel is short and it ends in a consonant. What about the second part of the word? You're right, that's another closed syllable. The vowel is short and it ends in a consonant. So where does lesson go? You're right, it goes under our closed syllables. Lesson is an example of a word that's built with two closed syllables. Let's put it right there, lesson. What about pencil? What do you have happening in pencil? Let's break it. Pencil. I think I heard you say it. You noticed right away we have two closed syllables, don't we? Each syllable ends in a consonant and the vowel makes a short sound. So that's an example of a closed syllable. Pencil. Nice. Okay. And let's take a look at this word, recess. One of my favorite times of the day, recess. Will you break that word with me? Recess. What kind of syllable pattern do we have here in the first part of the word? Yep, you hear that long E, don't you? That's an open syllable. What do we have here happening in the second part of the word? I think you probably hear that short E and that ending in a consonant. Right? So recess is an example of a word like music that has both an open syllable and a closed syllable. Pretty cool, huh? Recess. Let's go ahead and put it right there. All right, and let's take a look at a nice long word here, calculator. You might use a calculator to help you solve a problem in math. Calculator. Will you break that with me? Calculator. What do we have happening there in calculator? What is it we have in that first syllable? Yep, that's closed, isn't it? Our short A, and it ends in a vowel. What about Q? Yeah, that's open, isn't it? You hear that long U sound and you see it ends in a vowel. Calculator. So this is an example of a word, right, that ends in, that has an open syllable. I'm sorry, it has a closed syllable and an open syllable and another open syllable, right? That LA. And then at the end here we have what's called an R-controlled syllable, which is something we'll talk about another time. So calculator is an example of a word that is built with a closed syllable and an open and two open syllables. Calculator. So one of the things that's neat to know about words, especially these longer words, is that they're often built with lots of different syllable patterns together in one word. And what you can do, because you know how words break, right? You know how words break by syllables, is you can just use that to help you get into some of these longer words. And let's do one more together. Let's do the word paper. You break that with me? Paper. What do we hear here at the beginning? A, you hear that long A? That's an example of an open syllable. And then we have another one of those R-controlled syllables that we'll talk about another time. So paper is an example of a word with an open syllable. Will you take a look at our words and think about what you notice? What are you noticing? So one of the things I'm noticing is that words can be made with lots of different syllable combinations. So sometimes we have words that are combinations of two closed syllables together. Sometimes we have words that are combinations of open syllables and closed syllables together. And sometimes we have combinations of syllable patterns that might be an open syllable with a different kind of syllable altogether. So one of the things you can do is you can use your understanding of syllable patterns to help you break into words when you're reading and to help you say words syllable by syllable when you're writing and trying to figure out how to spell them. Thanks for exploring syllable patterns with me today.